Okay, because we're doing a concrete install, the first step we recommend is attaching our concrete installation kit to the bottom of the outer frame. Drop the outer frame into the adapter and then using the screws supplied, attach the two together. Got to be careful not to over tighten the screws because it can damage the plastic part, so that's why we're using hand tools. Okay, now we've got that fastened up. The idea is to fit this over either the top opening of your skimmer box or the extension collar. You should find that the 6 springs that are going around the extension collar have to just splay out very slightly to get the right fit, and as you can see, that'll hold itself in place once you've set it. If you have a smaller opening, there's little caps that you can clip onto each of these to help reduce the overall clearance. Now we just need to set this up to the desired finished height. Okay, so usually on site this would be where your skimmer opening is. We've set up this formwork box so that we can cast the concrete into something. The top of the box here is our desired finish level of our concrete slab or surround. So all we do is, now you've got the installation kit assembled to the bottom of the outer frame, slide that down over the opening, and then we're just going to set that up and make sure that the top rim of this frame is set flush with the finished height of the slab. What we need to do now is attach this to the top of the skimmer box or the extension collar to hold it in that place, but also prevent any concrete from entering into the opening in the middle. Okay, so we've just got a high quality duct tape that we're using here today. Tape this up, trying to ensure that it doesn't shift too far from where we set it. And now wrap the join with more tape to make sure we cover off all the openings and holes that potentially the concrete could get through into the skimmer. As you may be able to see, we've got some little additional supports in this formwork box to help us keep this thing in the position we want it whilst we pour the concrete around it. That's something that you may wish to do on site, tying it in or supporting it to your steelwork or some other method. Okay, now we've got our outer frame and adapter set up over our skimmer box or extension collar, ready for setting up the concrete. We're going to set this one up as a lid in place. This is especially good type of install if you've got a decorative finish on your concrete which you would like to have continuous through the lid, like a stamped finished or some other decorative form of finish. We've removed the lid using the 2 lid keys from the outer frame already. We need to install these little concrete knuckles. All you need to do is align them with each hole, turn them 90 degrees to lock them in place. And now those 4 knuckles are locked in place, ready for concrete to be poured around them. You'll see once they're locked into place, they've got a cradle which you can use if you want to put in some additional reinforcing like a mesh or a rebar. There's little wings that you can tie that down to, but for the moment we're going to just pour it using the knuckles themselves. That'll key the concrete to the lid and will mean that it'll just never come out. Now that the lid has the knuckles in place, we can drop it back to the outer frame and lock it off, take the keys out. We need to put in the construction caps to protect the lock barrels and the surrounding gap from concrete entering and blocking them up. So we've got the 2 triangular red caps just clipped in there. And now we've got these 4 construction spaces. These have got a little curl on the ends that will ensure that they meet up perfectly on these rounded corners. So just make sure when you're putting them in that you're orienting them the right way. And what this does is it ensures everything's nice and centered, but also prevents concrete or any debris getting down and jamming the lid. So just push those down so that everything's nice and flush with your finished level. And now this is ready to pour concrete around and infill at once. Now, the concrete's partially cured, and it's important at this stage to ensure that the outer rim and the construction caps are nice and clean and clear. So you can see right around here, we've wiped away the concrete and ensured that we can see the outer rims, the construction spaces, and these two construction caps. So we've left the concrete for a couple of days to set, and we're now ready to strip all the construction spaces, caps out, clean everything up and finish off our installation. So first things first, just get a wet rag or a sponge and just try and clean back all the perimeter rim, just to make it hopefully a little bit easier to remove the lid. So now, to finish everything off, we need to remove the lid and clean everything up. Picking out these slim blades could be a bit fiddly sometimes, so what we recommend, is a helpful hint if you wish, is to remove the construction caps. So you can see there has been a little bit of slurry get under those, but the main thing is to ensure that none of the debris or slurry has gotten down the key openings. Insert the keys, and now just by wiggling it out, should be able to get the lid and the construction blades out. Okay. Alrighty. So we can just grab the construction blades, get them out of the way. But there has been some slurry get through in the corners and just around the perimeter of the frame. So what we're going to do now is clean that all up. We're using a plastic type scraper to avoid damaging the plastic outer frame part. So all I'll do now is just get in there and scrape all this out, ensuring as much as possible that none of it goes down into the skimmer. We need to get all of this out to ensure the lid operates properly. So you can see that the inside now is clean, all the corners and everything have been cleaned out, and so that's now ready to assemble the lid in. So now all we've got to do is clean the lid and do the same process. So I'll remove the keys, and as you can see, we've had some slurry get in just around those construction caps, so I've got to clean all this out, making sure that none of it gets into the key opening or clogs up these holes. It's very important to get all this out from under the recess, because we'll clip a infill trim into these recesses, and any of this debris will mean that they won't clip into place as intended. Now we have all the lid cleaned up, wiped down, free of debris. The last stage is to just clip in the trim plates. Now, something to be aware of is these trim plates are actually handed. So you'll see on the underside of the trim plates there's an A or a B. And you just need to make sure that you'll get the A plate into the A recess. You can see there's an A there and a B. So I've got the B plate. Just drop that in carefully and push it down into place till it clips in. And then we do the same for the A. And there we go. Lid's all finished and ready for installation into the outer frame. We always recommend that you lift and replace the lid using the keys. So we insert the keys, rotate them around to the unlock position so they're retained in the lid. Then we carefully lift and lower into the outer frame till it's home. Then it's just a matter of locking the lid in place, removing the keys, and your installation is complete. Always store the keys in a safe place and keep them away from children.